Hey guys, Liquid Fire here. Thanks for joining me again tonight. So, as you can tell, we are not looking at Way of the Hunter, and for some of you will be very happy to hear, we are not looking at Transport Fever 3 either. But we are going to take a look at the trailer that came out for Hunting Simulator 3. So, kind of to be upfront, I played Hunting Simulator 2 a little bit, not a lot. And the first one, I never played it at all. So I have no idea what the first one was like. The second one, I kind of liked it. Let me rephrase that. I didn't hate it. Um, it seems like it had a lot of good pieces, good elements. It had a lot of good potential, but it just never really caught on, I guess is one way to say it. It didn't really pull anybody in. And it's kind of been meh ever since. There's been some updates to it that even I didn't know had happened until recently. I was actually thinking about playing it again just a little bit to see how it looked after they had made some updates. So I checked it out personally early 2020, I guess it would have been, and at the same time I picked up the Hunter Classic. I never played Classic because of the pay model, the way it was set up. I just didn't want to get into that kind of thing. It was just too much money. The whole subscription thing, it just wasn't appealing. So I saw Hunting Simulator 2 come out. I picked it up, started playing it a little bit, and at the same time, almost exactly the same time, discovered that Classic had went free. So I tried Classic as well at the same time and just liked it better. So I never really got into HS2 so much. I've got, a few hours in it or whatever, not a lot by any stretch, but enough to kind of play with it and kind of get a feel for it and decide that I liked Classic better. Basically, it's how much time I put into it. But they're releasing a new version, so I guess it was on today's what, Wednesday. So on Tuesday, Monday, I don't know, sometime this week, a trailer drop for Hunter Simulator, Hunting Simulator 3. I will get it right eventually. So I wanted to kind of look through that, did a little bit of digging to find some more information. If you haven't seen the trailer yet, the link to the trailer will be in the description. Go check it out. We'll go ahead and play it here and watch it, and then kind of get into some of the pieces that I find really interesting, and kind of talk through some of the information that I found. So there's some interesting things out there, some really intriguing things, to be honest. So let's hold off here. Go ahead and play the trailer. Again, links down in the description if you want to watch it on your own outside of here. So definitely worth watching. So we're going to let that run, and then we'll pick up following that. All right, guys. So, interesting trailer. Not a lot, not any gameplay necessarily. Maybe some of it was. I kind of get the feeling that that was cinematic, though. Um, it could be that some of it's gameplay, but when you start looking at what a lot of the characters are doing, just the movements that the guys and stuff have, it just feels more like this is not actual gameplay. Um, so maybe it's going to be good, maybe it's not. Who knows what it's going to look like in game? Hopefully, before it releases, we see more trailers and get an idea of what the actual gameplay is going to look like. Because while that's cool looking, if that's not the game, then it doesn't really tell us a whole lot. So there are a few things that we can kind of infer, though, or maybe infer anyway. Something that I noticed right off the bat were the deer. They were super furry, and that's kind of abstract when you come from Way of the Hunter, for example. They have that tight summer coat in Way of the Hunter, unless they're adult or some sort of rare. They tend to have that really light tan collar, and then when they turn to mature, I think I said adult a second ago, but when they turn to late mature, they get more of that gray coat, and they're always that real trim, lean, not furry at all. So whitetail do change collars throughout the seasons. So in the middle of summer, they are that light tan, but by the time you get into winter, their coats have shifted, at least regionally. Their coats have shifted into more of a gray color overall. So they don't have that bright in your face tan throughout the entire year, at least here in Virginia. Maybe it's different in other places. And in colder regions, they do tend to get longer coats. I don't know if I can definitely say that they nailed it in terms of the look or whatever, but it does kind of have that late winter furry type of look. So that's interesting. But what really jumped out is when you started looking at the different deer, there were some that didn't have that super old look. So one of the things that I did notice, I think it was on the Steam page maybe, is that the we're going to be having the animals age. So it sounds like that's going to be something that's going to be the same as Way of the Hunter. They are going to age the animals, which is definitely cool to see. Now, what that looks like in game, how long they live, none of that's been released yet that I know of. I've dug around. I can't find a Discord for them. Maybe there's one out there, and I'm just really bad at finding them. But I couldn't find a Discord. Couldn't find anything on their website. So I just kind of struck out pretty much across the board in finding anything outside of what I could find in Steam. So getting more information, yeah, it's going to be limited to what's pretty easily found. But interesting with the whitetails, so that's cool. And the aging part, seeing it in the trailer, that's definitely a good sign. If we look at the bison, it was just a huge herd. Now, again, will there be herds like that in game? Who knows? I'm guessing probably not. When we look at games that have really big herds, Way of the Hunter, for example, you run into performance issues. So I don't know what the chances are that they're going to have these massive migrating herds, or maybe they were just spooked, but massive herds of bison. So that may be, uh, I think that's probably more cinematography. The next thing we looked at was the Polaris Ranger UTV. It was an EV, so that'll be quiet. That'll be nice. Hopefully, it won't be nearly as loud as what we have in Way of the Hunter. Um, but the good thing there, or maybe I should say interesting thing, is it is Polaris. It's not a generic UTV. It is an actual Polaris Ranger EV. And with doing some digging, they did, in fact, say they will be using branded items. They listed out Beretta, Winchester, and Browning, and we even saw the Browning on one of the hats that the characters are wearing in the not the demo, in the trailer. So Beretta, Winchester, Browning, obviously Polaris. So there's definitely going to be some more um, brands that are going to be in game. So that's cool. Of course, the dog. There's going to be a dog. Hunter Sense 2. Gosh, I'm so stuck on Hunter Sense. Hunting Simulator 2 had a dog in game. Um, I didn't play long enough to really get a great feel for him. Uh, what little I used him, I mean, he worked, he was fine, but he didn't seem quite as useful as the dog in the Hunter Classic. Again, it's just a few hours, not hundreds of hours in the game, so maybe they were a little better than I saw. No guarantees there. I did read that they updated their AI for the dogs, so maybe they perform even better now. So they did say they improved the hunting dog AI. So hopefully that makes them a better companion along the run. If we look at the gear that the guys are wearing, we see different types of camo. We see hat, no hat. Like I said, the one with the browning on it. So hopefully that's a sign that we're going to be able to change gear, be able to have actual camo, make choices on what we wear. Maybe, hopefully, the camo has a role in game. Not really sure, but that would be a nice tidbit there if the camo actually worked and did something. One of the next things that jumped out, predation. So they made it a point to show off the cougar going after the cottontail or snowshoe hare, whatever rabbit it was. But we had a cougar certainly pouncing on a rabbit, and that appeared to me to be something that's likely to happen in game. Now, again, if we're just looking at a trailer, nothing's been said, but if we look at the trailer and try to infer from it, looks like predation will be a thing. Now, how that plays out in game, don't know, but hopefully it turns into something that's interesting at least, and we'll see how it actually works once it's in game. Obviously, they showed the dog sniffing down and finding scat and the hoof print and all that, so we know the dog will be tracking. That's nothing too surprising there. Now, away from the video, I ran into what they're calling SimFauna. And basically, what they're saying is it's a revolutionary dynamic system that faithfully replicates animal behavior and allows your actions to impact the environment. So that's a lot of words. It doesn't say a whole lot other than it's something that's going to have animals behave a specific way. So what does that mean in the long run? Who knows? Are they going to have need zones? Are they going to hide from you? If you're in an area a lot, are they going to start avoiding that area? Who knows? Again, just not enough information to really say a whole lot. But the fact that they did call out and give it a name, SimFauna, they did call out that it's supposed to faithfully replicate animal behavior. That's a good sign. Animal behavior is huge in hunting games. A lot of times we say we want something that's realistic. No, we don't want realistic hunting. Sorry, that's just a bad way of saying you want animals that behave more realistically. You want their movements. You want them to act real. We don't want real simulation. It's boring. Hunting is boring. Sorry, I hate to say it, but if you're stand hunting and you sit in the woods for 8 hours and you see nothing, you sit there, you're cold, and you go home empty handed, that's not fun. Now, it might be cathartic. It's nice to get out and away from everything and all that, but a video game needs to be fun. And sitting for 8 hours and seeing nothing but a couple birds fly by, that ain't fun. So we don't want realistic hunting. We want fun hunting with realistic animal actions. So if we take it from that side of things, maybe that's a good sign. Who knows? We'll just have to kind of wait and see. They did say obviously it was open world environments. I don't know how big the maps are going to be. I thought that I saw 64 square kilometers somewhere, but I couldn't find it again. So I don't know if I just misread something or just didn't happen to get back to where I was. So I don't know how big the map is, or maps are. There's two of them. It was going to be California and Texas. But I don't know. I can't find where I saw that at, or I keep overlooking it again if I do. So yeah. They also said that they enhanced their sound design. I can't remember off the top of my head how things sounded in Hunting Simulator 2. I don't remember it being horrible, but I don't remember. Um, Enhancing it for a new game only makes sense. It sounds though the way they're saying a lot of this stuff, they're improving the hunting dog AI, they're enhancing the sound. It sounds like a lot of reuse. And considering this is a third hunting game, I think that probably makes sense to reuse what you can. But I don't think that they're going to be able to reuse all of the assets because it's going to be on Unreal Engine 5. So this is going to be a UE5 game. Now, how well do they make it work? That's a big question. So all of us are excited about UE5, in theory. All of us are excited to see the best visuals we can possibly see. Absolutely. We want to see it. The bad thing is, if you've been watching anything about gaming over the last 6 months, people are starting to realize that just running UE5 isn't really great, and it's possibly not performing really as well as a lot of people thought it was going to. Um, it's kind of new still. I mean, it's not like it just popped out, but it's still kind of new compared to 4. It's extremely new, but there seem to be a lot of developers who are having trouble getting it to perform as well as it should be. That kind of concerns me on a couple different fronts. So one, we've got 2 new games in the pipeline that are both using UE5. That could be great. If they both struggle at getting it to work, that could be bad. Now, the company that's putting out this one, what is it, Nameco? No, not Nacon. That's what it is. Nacon Studio Ghent. They're the ones who are actually putting out the game. So I don't know how big they are. I tried to dig up a little bit on them. About all I could find is that they're a subsidiary of Nacon. Then they're headquartered in Belgium. So Ghent obviously is where they're headquartered at. Um, I assume they have a website, and I'm just struggling to find it. So I don't know. Nacon is a French game publisher. I think they were formerly Big Ben Interactive or something like that, maybe. So Ghent is just a small subset of them. Um, I think actually, hang on, I wrote it down. So Nacon Studio Ghent was formerly Neopica, N-E-O-P-I-C-A. Don't know anything about them, and I didn't dig into anything that Neopica did. Give me a second. Let me see if I can find anything on them. Okay, so through the power of magic and pausing, I did a little digging around, and with Neopica, they did Hunting Simulator, Hunting Simulator 2. They also did FIA European Truck Racing Championship, and a lot of little weird things like My First Baby Annabelle, I Love My Pony, I Love My Dogs and Love My Cats, Animal Hospital, Games Festival 1 and 2, Pets Resort 3D, My Vet Practice, America's Next Top Model, Paws and Claws Pet Vet. So yeah, kind of an odd mix of things, and the racing and the 2 hunting games seem to kind of be their headliners. So I don't know. Don't know much about them. Small company, and that's kind of leading back to my concerns with UE5. With it being something new, having a bigger team that can help work through the issues is probably going to be helpful. I think that we're seeing the same type of issues out of Ultimate Hunting, where they're trying to learn UE5 on the fly, and I think that that's going to slow things down for them, and it's surely going to slow things down for Hunting Simulator 3. Slow is okay. The question I have is how well is it really going to work? Um, so it's exciting that it's going to be UE5. It's kind of concerning that it's going to be UE5 at the same time. The other thing that kind of concerns me is this is going to be a console game. So PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. The kind of standard setup for consoles today. I did read something about Switch, so maybe there's going to be on Switch too. But man, when we see the consoles, the big question to me becomes which are they developing first? Are they developing this primarily as a console game and they're going to give us a PC version? Or are they going to develop it as a PC game and port that into a console version? Two totally different approaches when you start looking at the potential for the quality of the game. So something that's built PC first, they can really get into leveraging the high-end equipment. They can take it to bleeding edge levels. They can push it beyond what a casual PC user can run wide open. With a PlayStation 5, Xbox, you can't really do that. There's flat, hard limits. There's hardware limitations that you just can't exceed. So if they go the route of doing it for PC first and then tune it back for the consoles, that could be great. If they go the other way and develop it for the Xbox Series S as their primary goal, and then feed back into PlayStation and then back into PC, yeah, that's when we start looking at games that aren't performing as well as we would really like them to, and games that don't necessarily leverage all the power that you could out of a high-end PC. So I'm not saying that's a good or bad thing yet because we don't know how it's going to play, but it is something to keep in mind. Um, I'm not going to scream foul. Obviously, it only makes sense to put them out on consoles. They're a business, they need to make money. Getting it out on multiple platforms increases your income. And everybody knows that game development companies need as much income as they can right now. It's a struggling field right now. They are certainly struggling. So seeing new games come out that are on all three or more, it's not surprising at all. It's what I would do. So who knows? I don't want to kind of bury it and say it's going to have problems just because they're supporting platforms. That's certainly not the case, but it could be. So just something to be aware of. So overall, I'm excited. Uh, I've been waiting for Ultimate Hunting to come out for years now. I was watching information about it trickle in and on their Facebook group and all that stuff like a year before Way of the Hunter showed up. So definitely excited to see how things go with Ultimate Hunting. But Hunting Simulator 3, that's interesting too. So to me, HS2 had potential. It had some cool stuff. It just felt weird. Didn't play great to me. But it wasn't, the most horrible thing ever. Um, it just happened to be that I stumbled into Classic being free at the same time, and everybody knew Classic was an amazing game. I knew it. I just wasn't going to pay the subscription and all the stuff for it, when it was, newer. So when I saw it was free, it was really hard not to try it and play it. And if you've played Classic, it's easy to see why I stuck with it for, you know, almost a couple thousand hours. So who knows? Either way, I will personally definitely be picking this one up. So Hunting Simulator 3 will be on the list. So Ultimate Hunting, Way of the Hunter, all three of those, I'll definitely be doing content for each of those. I'm not going to drop back into Classic, and for me, Call of the Wild just wasn't appealing. Now, if they were to bring out something new, and yeah, I'll probably try it. But right now, those two are kind of off limits. Not off limits, just not of interest right now. That said, given that Hunting Simulator 3 is coming out, I am definitely going to go back and play a little bit of HS2. So we'll be doing some videos on that. I know that there a lot of people just weren't very happy with the transport fever stuff popping in, and okay, I got it. It's just not of interest. It will be an off day type of thing whenever I drop anything for transport fever, so it will not take the place of any hunting content. So Tuesdays and Saturdays will be the normal hunting stuff. Thursdays, of course, for the community challenge, and then if I want to throw in something else, I'll throw it in on another day. Just a little bonus there. I did go ahead and play through the first chapter and recorded all that, so there will be more coming. You don't have to watch it, I know. But yeah, so we are definitely going to pick up Hunting Simulator 3 as soon as we can. If we can get into an early access, a beta, whatever, yeah, we'll definitely do it if they make that option available. I'm all for it. I'm excited to see what it looks like and how it plays. Same thing, Ultimate Hunting. As soon as I can get my hands on it, definitely going to jump in it and play it some. So we'll see how it goes. All right, guys. Kind of rambled on a lot longer than I intended to, but there's a lot here, a lot of little pieces to look at, and I'm sure I skipped a bunch of things and didn't notice a lot of things in the video. But yeah, we got something new on the horizon, so that's always good. And even if it's only okay, having that competition to drive all of these game development companies to put out a better hunting game is great news. Even if you never play any other game, you pick one and stay with it forever. Having all this competition can make all of the games better. So, very exciting. Oh, I did skip something I wanted to say about this. One of the things with Hunting Simulator 2 was the lack of a lot of enhancement for the game. So, with Way of the Hunter, we've seen a ton of content come in, tons new maps, tons of gear, blah blah blah. We didn't see that with Hunting Simulator 2. It was kind of like they dropped everything in, and that was about it. They didn't continue to expand and show us more maps or anything like that. They did add in, what was it? It was the Ranger's Life or something like that. They did add that in. There was a Beretta weapon. You know what? Hang on. Let me jump over to Steam and just pull their DLCs. I'm on Steam already, so this will be quick. So just pull up a list. There is no list. Okay, let's pull up featured. So they had the Ranger's Life. It's a new scripted campaign. You join Dexter in his daily duties as a ranger. They had the Beretta Weapon Pack that released in July of 2020. So it was 7 Beretta shotguns. So that was, Berettas are nice. I love Berettas. And then there was a DLC called the Bear Hunter Pack. So this bonus content includes bear hunting licenses as well as 6 exclusive clothing and weapons. So whatever. And then there was a Hunting Simulator 2 Beretta Model 486 by Mark Newson. So it was an exclusive premium shotgun. I don't know, it was $1.64 or something. I don't know. But there wasn't new maps. There wasn't, that type of ongoing development that we see out of most games. Take a look at all the maps that you have in Classic. Take a look at all the maps you have in Call of the Wild. Take a look at The Way of the Hunter. Yeah, it's the new kid on the block, but even there we have a ton of maps and new ones coming out. Dropping 2 a year was really good. Hunting Simulator 2 didn't do that. So that's something that's concerning for the long-term player, and it's worth being aware of. If they follow the same kind of concept as they have before, we may be looking at a game that's kind of a flash in the pan. They get it out there, they do a couple DLCs, and that's the end of it. So it may or may not be one of those long-term, long investment type of games. Who knows? And maybe they change their approach with this one. Maybe they see great success and continue developing on that particular game. But that is something to be aware of. That's kind of been their MO so far. So out of the gate, I wouldn't expect more than the two maps that they listed. Again, I think it was California and Texas. So I wouldn't necessarily be expecting a whole lot more. But you know, who knows? Oh, and while I was clicking around, double checking the maps, it was Colorado and Texas, not California. Colorado and Texas. And they're supposed to have over 40 animals, and it's going to be single player and multiplayer. So yeah, that's a good start. Even if that's all we get is the two maps. Again, sorry, Colorado, not California, and Texas. Yeah, with 40 animals, that's a lot of animals on two maps. So that's a really good out of the gate start. So we'll see. Um, I don't know. I'm excited. Hopefully, it turns out to be a great game. Whether or not it continues with new maps and stuff aside, if it's a great game, it's a great game, and yeah, that's good for the entire genre. So, wishing them good luck on that. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap up. Hopefully, I covered some information that maybe you hadn't seen, or at least you know gave you a chance to kind of look at some things in a little more depth than before. Maybe maybe we see this turn into the next great thing. Who knows? All right, y'all have a great night. God bless and happy hunting.